all started when a random Twitter guy slid into my DMs. He wrote to me, "If you won't be my girlfriend, I'm telling everybody your favorite book is the Communist Manifesto." My first reaction? Well then, I guess my favorite book is the Communist Manifesto. But one small thing, I've never read the Communist Manifesto. So thanks to this random Twitter dude, I was inspired to read the Communist Manifesto for the very first time. I always thought that the Communist Manifesto was only written by Karl Marx. I never knew that Friedrich Engels helped him too. So that was really interesting to learn. This book was published in 1848. Marx and Engels, they were commissioned to do it by the Communist League, and the original version was written in German. I really hate translated books. They're just not my thing. They are written in such a way where it just goes right over my head. The Communist Manifesto was meant for the public to read. It was published in a ton of different languages. It was meant for the people who misrepresent communism, to teach them a thing or two. Basically, the Communist Manifesto goes through the whole background of communism, the roots of it, and the goals of communism, where they want to go in the future, how they're going to win. Here's the Communist Manifesto in a nutshell. All throughout history, conflict has been created by class struggles. There's two classes, the bourgeoisie, which is the capitalists, the people who own the means of production, and the proletariat. They're the wage earners, the working class. The bourgeoisie, they make all the profit, they innovate, they revolutionize, they compete, and they participate in free trade. How horrible! The proletariat, they're the ones who work for the bourgeoisie. They don't like the wages they earn, they work super hard in bad conditions. It's just not fair. Communism has the solution. All private property should be abolished to take it away from the bourgeoisie, and everything should be centralized in the hands of the state. Also, the proletariat should create a revolution and overthrow the bourgeoisie. Working men of all countries, unite! But not really. I am so thankful that the Communist Manifesto was less than 50 pages, depending on which version you read. I read the free ebook version. I did not want to buy this book. I did not want it to go on my shelf. It has no place. Not on this shelf of liberty. The book still was extremely boring. It put me to sleep. In fact, when I got to the part where the socialist and communist literature was being critiqued and analyzed, I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to take a nap for an hour, and then I came back to it. I reread the Communist Manifesto again, and finally I got a little bit more clarity, but it was still kind of like fuzzy. So I'm gonna be honest, I read a lot of Cliff Notes, Spark Notes, summaries, Wikipedia. I just wanted to try to get a simpler version of what the Communist Manifesto was saying. It seems like communism is super simple, but this book really didn't make it that way. It's so funny because when I announced online that I was reading the Communist Manifesto, people were like, "Steffi, are you okay? We need to do a welfare check." And then one person was like, "Taxation is blank." And I was like, theft. It's still theft. So just remember, just because you read a book that is super against your beliefs, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that you're gonna believe those things in the book. I'd like to read Mein Kampf, for example, because I'm just curious to know what is in the mind of a psychopath. It just interests me. I like to see the motivation behind these people. For example, in the Communist Manifesto, it was clear to see that Marx and Engels, they had a lot of envy for the bourgeoisie. They wanted to end the bourgeoisie and basically make them have nothing. So it's important to know what the motivating factors are behind an idea. I'm really glad it's over. I'm probably never going to read the Communist Manifesto ever again in my life, but I'm glad I read it once. So thanks again, Twitter dude, for inspiring me to read it. You have changed my life. Well, comrades, I hope you enjoyed my video today. Please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, be free.